Hi everyone, today's a makeup tutorial and it's an autumnal look, so I hope you enjoy. This is me with no makeup on. Don't be frightened, I'm not going to hurt you or anything. This is me taking my fringe out of my face just so that it doesn't get in the way when I'm putting on my foundation or anything. Because the last thing you want when your hair's all fresh and clean is to get makeup all the way in it, so that's why I'm doing that. And then I'm getting my Revlon Photo Ready Primer. This is absolutely brilliant for smoothing out your complexion so that you've got a really good canvas for applying your foundation on afterwards. Of course, I've moisturised my face before doing this as well. So moisturiser and then the Photo Ready Primer. Not many people like primers, but I really do. I find that it smooths out my complexion really well and just makes a really, really good surface to put foundation on. It helps it sink in better, go on smoother, you don't get any lumps and bumps in the way. So I'd probably be a bit lost without a primer. My friend's trying to get back in the action again. The thing with having a fringe, it does tend to get in the way a lot. It's a bit like having a pet. So smoothing, lots of smoothing. You don't want any primer, not to smooth onto your face because it's not a good look. That's me just making a funny face at you. So next is the Stay Matte Mousse Foundation from Rimmel. I think I've got it in shade True Ivory, and no, I've got it in Ivory, and it's really, really good. It's a whipped up consistency, so it's really light when it goes on the face. I was worried that it would be really flaky. It's my Real Techniques Expert face brush, so I'm just going to fast forward this bit because nobody likes to see me blending foundation into my face forever, so let's just skip forward a little bit. Dum da dum. Quite funny seeing yourself all fast forwarded. Tired. Blending, blending, more blending. Finally happy with that. Seems to be, yeah, lovely. So next is the Wake Me Up Concealer. This is really, really good at adding just, if you've got matte skin, then you can always have a little bit of radiance put into it. So this is really good for that. Under my eyes, just to reflect the light nicely so there's no dark circles. Around the nose where you get redness, maybe a couple of blemishes here and there. I've got quite a few broken veins on my cheeks actually from the cold, so I've just found that putting this on helps me disguise those a little bit. Trying to screw the lid on, it was really quite difficult. Speeding up again so you don't have to see the long way round, but using my Real Techniques brush again to blend it all in so that it's really nice and smooth and blended into the foundation as well. This is the MUA Ever After palette. I really, really love this palette. I'm just using the, which one is that? Just using the penny shade in order to go over my eyebrows with a small, I can't remember the name of this brush, but it's a small tipped one. Perfect for doing the eyebrows. Really, really helps me do little strokes so that it looks really natural and not so kind of chunky. I hate it when eyebrows look really, really chunky. It's quite unnatural. I've got really thick eyebrows, which is just as well because at the moment they're really all the rage, so I'm quite happy to have them naturally. But I just find that using a little bit of powder helps bring out some definition, especially when you're using foundation. You want to have that definition so that they don't get lost in that canvas of your face. So just really soft strokes, nice and light, following through with the other one. You have to, don't go too mad on making sure that each and every stroke matches the other side, because your eyebrows aren't meant to be exact copies of one another. There's saying going around saying that they should be sisters and not twins, and that is totally and utterly spot on. They should just reflect each other slightly. They shouldn't be, completely and utterly the exact same. I'm even smiling at myself for waffling on. But yeah, really, really nice soft strokes. Make them look as natural as possible. They're just meant to enhance. That's the word, enhancement. We don't want to completely override them or make them look tattooed on. We just want to make it nice and soft. So next up, I'm using my favourite ever palette. It's the Naked 2 palette from Urban Decay. These people know what they're doing when it comes to eyeshadow. And the first one that I'm going with is Foxy, and I use this so much. I've been using it pretty much every day since I got it way back from the beginning of this year, and it still isn't hitting the bottom of the palette. It's a really, really good base shade, Foxy. It's great for evening out skin tone on your eyelids. It's good for hiding any kind of little veins that are on your eyelid if your eyelids are quite thin. It's just really, really good at creating a nice base for your eyeshadow. I'm just doing the other one. It goes on really easily, their eyeshadows. It is, loads of people use the word butter, and it goes on like butter. You can just spread it on and it's just really, really nice and smooth, and really great pigment as well. I'm so happy with this. I decided to go on with the Tease shade. Now that is really, really good. It's a kind of pinky matte shadow. I think it's probably one of the only matte ones in that palette, and I really like it. It's a really good base for an autumnal eye, and you know, something that creates a nice base for the autumn shades that I'm trying to do in this tutorial, because you know, in the summer it's always good to go for the corally shades, but I feel like at the moment in the season it's all about berry shades, so this makes a really good base for that. I just put it all over my lid. I didn't go too high with it, I just wanted it to be a wash over my lid so that I could start to build up with a smokiness, which is where the MUA palette comes in. Now this is shade 25, I believe. A really, really lovely burgundy berry shade that is brilliant for creating the smokiness. So I've just been putting it on the outer corners of my lid, kind of just under the brow bone. You know, it's always hard to do a really, really neat smoky eye. I guess you're not really meant to. It's meant to be kind of smudged and messy, but with still a little bit of structure, so you don't look like you've just had an explosion of eyeshadow on your eyes. I'm actually using the brush that came with the Naked palette. It's a really, really good brush. It's double end. The first one that I'm using there is for getting definition with some colour. That's placing the colour where you actually want it to be. And then the other end, which I'll be doing in a minute, is used for blush. Sorry, I can't talk today. It's there for blending. That's the one. I wanted to say blushing. Your eyelids don't blush. So yeah, that's just there for blending the eyeshadow, so you don't have any harsh lines and it doesn't look like you've done a bit of a paint by numbers on your face. So I'm using, in order to blend it in, I'm actually using the Foxy again. So I'm going back to the Foxy, using the blending brush tip of the brush and blending it in. I'm just going off to the next side, doing exactly the same, trying to get it to match as much as possible. Sometimes you might feel like you need to add a little bit of pigment back to the other side in order to make it look a little bit more even. Taken up with the prettiness of those shades, they are really, really nice for this time of year. It looks a bit scary at first when you're doing a smoky eye. You see all this pigment come onto your eyelid and you think, oh my god, I've gone way overboard, it's not going to work. And then once you start blending, the trick is just to blend, and then you end up with it all looking quite seamless and lovely and perfect. Well, near perfect. I mean, I'm hardly an expert. I'm self-taught, hoping to become an expert soon. I'm going to be doing a makeup course. So, and I'm trying to make it so that you can see. I then use the Booty Call, which has a lovely little bit of shimmer to it. It's like a baby pink, and then it comes out quite light, and it's really, really good at adding a little bit of sparkle. Again, blending so that you don't have any harsh lines, muting down anything that might be a little bit too bright, and just highlighting that kind of nice part of your eyelid, the inner corner that you want to be nice and bright. Blending again. Look how pretty. Blink, blink, blink. So taking the angle brush, I'm then going to go back to the MUA palette, and I'm going to take the shade, Truffle, and I'm just going to use that as a liner across my top, but nothing too regimented, nothing too straight, you know, just really nice and soft. And another thing that's going to be blended, it's just to add a bit of definition. I could use liquid eyeliner, I could have used a pencil, but I just wanted this look to be really, really soft. So that's what this angle brush allows me to do. Just a nice bit of dark brown eyeshadow just to make like pop. You have to get it as close to the lash line as possible, otherwise it does just look like you've got a random line going across your eyelid, which is never a good look really. You just want it to define. See? And I'm going back to the brush that I used for my eyebrows, dusting off the excess, and then I'm using the Truffle again just to coat under the under eyelid, the waterline. That's to yeah, just define again, do exactly what the top lid was doing but on the underside. You have to be really careful that you don't poke your eye out of that bit. And using powder, you know, you do run that risk, because it's loose, you do run the risk of having it drop onto your cheeks. Now, loads of people do different things about this. They tend to use a tissue, or they tend to just kind of mop it away with their fingers. I find just dusting it away with a powder brush is the best way to do it, because it doesn't smudge it into the skin, and there's normally just a tiny little bit of excess there. Next up is my favourite mascara at the moment. It's the Maybelline Falsies Volume Express Mascara. This has been absolutely brilliant, and you can layer it up, and it really does make it look like you've got false eyelashes on. I don't like it half as much as the Benefit They're Real mascara, but I tend to save that for special occasions because that has a hefty price tag, whereas I think this is $8.99, and it really, really is good. It's well worth the money actually, and I find that it goes on really easily, it doesn't clump, the wand is really easy to use. I think as of yet I haven't actually poked my eye out or anything with it, so that's always a good sign. And yeah, it doesn't dry out very quickly either, which has been really good. So I've been loving that at the moment. Now I do something quite strange here. I then take my powder brush. I don't do my bottom lashes. I then take the powder brush and the Stay Matte powder from Rimmel. This is the translucent one, and I use that to set everything that's going on my face now, apart from the eyelids obviously, but I just dust it on just to set my foundation, take off the excess of any eyeshadow that's fallen on my cheeks or anything like that, take away the shine, because I do tend to have oily skin and it really drives me crazy. So this stuff is absolutely brilliant for counteracting that, and it gives a nice flawless finish to everything. So I pop that on, and then once I pop that on, then I'm all ready to go with doing my bottom lashes to match my top ones. I also add a little bit on the top, just to kind of layer it up so that you really do get that false lash effect. So while I've been doing the powder, they've kind of dried a little, and then I can start layering it up again, and then I can start tackling the underside, making sure not to poke my eye out. It's always a good trick to kind of look up and away when you're doing this bit. I find that it helps me get my my underlashes, my lower lashes. I can't talk. My lower lashes. It helps me do that without poking my eye out. See? Lovely. Next up, I got this in a glossy box, and I actually did a review on it as well. It's Me Cherubs Blush, and it's a cheek and lip tint. And when you put it on at first, it can be quite scary, and I'm looking a bit like Pocahontas here. But it is really, really nice. It goes on really, really well. I must admit, the pigment is quite strong. I probably could have done with using a little bit less than this, but I must admit, after a while, it does sink into the skin. So if you put more on, I know it sounds quite scary, and it looks quite scary at the moment, but after a couple of moments, it does tend to blend into your skin a little bit more and tone down, and then it's not going to look so much like Sebastian the lobster from The Little Mermaid. And I like this because it really goes on naturally. It looks really natural. It's a natural flush to your skin. It looks like you've gone on a nice winter's walk and you've got a lovely rosy glow to your cheeks, and you're about to head home and sit in front of the fire and have hot chocolate or something. So that's why I like this, and it's going along with the berry shade again. If you do feel like you've put a little bit too much on, which I think I do here, I mean, it is quite highly pigmented, then it's easily rectified. You just go back to using the powder, the translucent powder from Rimmel, which I shall be doing in a moment, anytime now. Yep. So I go and get the translucent powder and just dust over a little bit, just so that it tones it down a little. And you have to remember, when you're doing your makeup, when you've got your hair pinned up, it does look quite stark and it does look quite in your face. And then, as you'll see in a bit, when I take my hair down, it all just suddenly comes together. So don't think that I'm trying to be a drag queen or anything. Not that I have anything against them, I'm their friend. Anyway, lipstick. This is my favourite one at the moment. This is from Rimmel. Absolutely love their lipsticks. It's so moisturising. Feels a bit more like a balm, really. This is shade 360 As You Want Victoria. And the moment that I put it on, I knew it was the shade for me. I love my reds. This is more of a pink. Not quite fuchsia, not quite red. It's in a really heavenly place in between, really, and I love it. It goes on really smoothly. The only thing is it can be smudgy, so I tend to blot just to take the excess off so that I don't end up, with it halfway down my chin or up by my nostrils or something like that. Or it just makes you look like you've been kissed then, which is fine. I mean, I'm always kissing the bear, but I don't want to look like I've done it all day, every day. Taking the hair down, shaking it around a little bit, trying not to look like a king penguin. Get everything back in place, and as you can see, once the hair's down, everything blends together and it's a lovely autumn look. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, and I shall be leaving the links on my blog below.